Hello, it's good to see you all once again. It is now time for an update, so let's go ahead and get started. But first, I'm going to take these headphones out of my ears because for whatever reason when I do these videos, they make my ears start to itch. I don't know, maybe it's talking while having them on. Who could say? So, I was suddenly woken up today by an unexpected call at around 7:45, 7:50, something like that, and it was my job. My job was calling me. It was one of my co-managers from work asking if I'd be up for doing a 10 to 7 today. Now, knowing that this week I only had 30 hours instead of my usual 37 and a half, I decided to accept the offer since I really didn't have any plans today anyways, and I thought, well, might make a little extra cash for the week on the side. So I agreed to the offer. My mom left from work asking if I could eventually find out where this weird smell was coming from in our, what do you call that, laundry room. So I said I would. And I was walking around in there and I noticed the smell was coming from a very specific area. It was the corner of the room and it was the cans. I was looking all around. I was like up, down, like behind counters. I was like, I can't see anything that could be causing the smell. So I didn't really know what to look out for. It's had a really rotty smell to it. Like the best way I can describe it is if you've had a pet cat before and your pet cat's dragged one of their like caught mice into the house, as mine has done, specifically our orange cat Avery when he was still alive. He left it in the first bathroom of the house, and no one really noticed until this awful smell started appearing. I can't really describe as anything more than just really like extremely pungent, extremely like gnarly, I guess. It was just awful, and we eventually found that mouse and threw it out. This one, I couldn't find a mice anywhere, and I couldn't for the life of me remember when our current three cats that we have, Malcolm the orange cat, Call Me the black cat, which is actually my sister's cat, and our calico long-haired cat, Autumn. I don't remember them ever capturing a mouse and bringing it into the house. So, yeah, I'm pretty sure our only cat that's ever done that was Avery, and now he's gone, so no one's really seemingly taken up that mantle since then, which is interesting. Since I couldn't locate the smell and I was getting hungry, I decided to close the door in the laundry room where the smell was coming from, and I decided to make a bowl of what do you call those? That cereal, honeycomb cereal. So I had that, a cup of coffee. I noticed something strange about the coffee machine though. That when I opened it, well, first of all, the top layer that leads to the where you're supposed to put the cut coffee beans was open, and the lid was open, and instead of coffee beans in there, it was grounded coffee, which is not what you're supposed to be putting in that coffee machine to begin with. Sorry, what's like, so that was very odd to me. I later texted my mom and found out she did it. It was like interesting. So I then poured it out because it's not supposed to be there in a separate bowl, and I took a tablespoon of the coffee and made a cup of the cranberry brulee coffee from the Magnifica Evo machine, which was very good with the honeycomb cereal. And while I was eating that, I was watching this video from Digital Foundry from I think his name was Tom Morgan, talking about the original Xbox backwards compatibility titles, 4 of them being tested on PC. So like there was like Conquer, Live and Reloaded, and there was a few more I'm forgetting right now, but that was like the only one that stands out in my memory. But the emulation looks competent. It's kind of a shame though that they decided to hard lock these games to their original frame rates instead of unlocking them. But I guess maybe it's because most of these games were designed with 30 frames per second in mind when they were being developed, and trying to crank it up to 60 frames per second would cause the game to glitch out. I would assume, but it is kind of a shame. Like these old games aren't really getting hypercharged. But yeah, it was basically just Tom Morgan going through like how well they run on PC compared to the consoles, and yeah, it's pretty interesting. And they even talked about them running on the Xbox Ally X. Um, Xbox Xbox's joint collaboration with Asus ROG Ally. Yeah, looked like it was running fine to me. After that, um, I remember I was done watching that, washing the bowl I used, and then where I decided to get dressed and ready for work, I got an A&W Zero Sugar from the back of the house, and then I said goodbye to our family friend, told her that I love her, and that I would be leaving for work. And they wished me a good day. She wished me a good day, and I wished her a good day back. Went to the car. I drove off to work. When I arrived at work, it was very odd. Normally, my schedule is 3 to 11, but today was a 10 to 7 shift, which was very strange, I have to admit, because I was given like a normal shift like that. I got back before I was basically just given nothing but sweep duties for seemingly ever. So yeah, it was a I'd call another throwback day, honestly. Although there was one thing that made this throwback day pretty interesting, and sorry, I'm pretty tired right now, but anyways, there was this guy dressed up as the Pringles mascot, and he was like in a red suit, with like a tie and like the big Pringles like head over his head, and he was being guided by this spokesperson. They was like holding his hand to make sure he wouldn't like trip or bump into anything. And yeah, when I saw that, when one of my coworkers who'd been working there for 30 years saw it, we thought it was pretty fun. Because we thought it would be a good opportunity. So we seized that, and yeah, we took our photos. It was neat. It was a fun experience. And then after that, checked the schedule. I had a lot for the first hour I was there, so I did a lot. Brought carts in to the corral, front end bagging. I have to admit, um, my day feels a little quicker with the whole sweep duty day being taken up, and I think it's because it's just the locations have more variety, and I'm always walking around, and on top of that, like I have to do a lot of my closing chores, which eat up quite a bit of time, and I know I have to get them done, otherwise I'll get in trouble. So I get to it really quickly. Where these, it's like you do one thing and one thing only, and so it's not really that taxing, but it just takes a while, I guess you could say. The lack of variety does make it a little tedious, but yeah. Then for my first break, I refilled my water canteen because it was empty. I actually remember wanting to get some water, and it was completely empty when I tried it like about an hour before my break. So yeah, I got some water. I did some breathing exercises, and then I returned back to work, did some bagging until it was time for my lunch break. Before I did my lunch break, I took some orders out to customers, and I would always alternate between bagging, bringing carts back into their stacks and stuff. So yeah, I punched in for my lunch break. I went upstairs. I had a mustard, mayonnaise, turkey sub sandwich piece. I was on my fourth piece today, and that means tomorrow I'm going to be on my last piece. Will I make my own meal and bring it there, or will I just buy another sub sandwich? I guess time will only tell, right? I ate the sandwich with the chips, the Cuban steak style Lay's chips, and the garlic cream Lay's chips, and they were both very good. Yeah, I was finishing up that Jesse Michaels video where he was talking with the physicists about the strange, like, anomalies on the moon and Mars' surface. It was very interesting. And then after that, I did a half-hour Monroe Institute Gateway Tape 3 session. I didn't want to record a separate video on it because it was at work, and I didn't want to really record anything in the break room. It felt like it would have been too much, especially with other coworkers around. So my experience, it was like the same protocol: create your energy conversion box, put in concerns in the box, close the heavy lid, do some resonant tuning where you hum to like a kind of humming sound in your ears. Go to focus 10 state, more advanced version, where you like create this like kind of like wave of relaxation that goes down your body into your feet, and it creates sort of like a circle around you, I suppose, or a sphere around you. It was pretty interesting. I felt like I almost got some visualizations, but not quite. And then there was like a coworker who was telling me about like vortex breathing. I was like, I wonder what that is. I found a walkthrough on YouTube, and I decided to try following that, and mixed results. I felt more relaxed, but that was about it. Then I went downstairs. I did a lot for my first hour back. Then I was told by one of my one of the CSRs, that they noticed they put me on lot for like 2 hours straight, and then an hour on my last hour, but 2 hours in between my last hour on lot. So I could only go at the beginning, and my other coworkers would be doing that work. So I thanked them for that, and then they told me that my co-manager was going to give me a tablet and have me stand next to a stand so I could advertise to customers about this special initiative where if you sign up on our website, that will cut the price of certain products down. So I pretty much stood there with the tablet looking at every customer passing by, saying hello, waving. And then whenever I got up, I just tried my best job to explain how the whole process goes. And I think it got at least 2 or 3 people interested, so that's nice. And then after that, it was just nonstop bagging and then bringing out carts for the next hour. And then the final hour, just lot and not much really say other than that. Punched out, said goodbye to each of my coworkers, and then I went into my car. I drove off. Before going home, I asked my mom if she'd be interested in splitting the costs on the water filter with me, her, and our family friends, since we do drink the water from the filter all together, and both of them did agree to do that. So I deeply thank them for that. So I tried to find the cheapest one I could, so it wouldn't be too ridiculous of a price. I found a really good deal at a place for the water filter for a fridge that we own, and it was like $21 per person for 2 filters. So that was pretty cool, considering the official ones like it would have been $100 per 2 filters. So big savings there. So I eventually arrived home. I greeted my mom and our family friend, and then my mom was telling me about a conversation she had with Google Gemini about like faces and how different faces say different things to us, and how we trust certain faces more than others. So it's like a primordial, human reaction to giving our trust to things. That was a really interesting insight. As she was explaining this, I was making the pizza because I promised I would make the pizza today. So I was forming the dough. It was giving me kind of a hard time, but I did manage to put it all together, and I was letting it like proof for a half hour while the oven was heating up. And then I par baked it by poking little uncooked pizza dough. I 5 minutes, took it out, put some sauce, some cheese, some pepperoni, and our family friend got out some sausage, chopped that up, put that on there, and then put out some olives on there. It was really good. Came out an absolute winner, very delicious pizza. And then me and my mom were watching the latest Emp Lemon video about the James A. Garfield assassination. It was very interesting. The fact that like the guy who eventually took him out was just some crazy, insane, like delusional person, clearly mentally unwell. Insight into the James A. Garfield's life and how he pretty much had zero interest in being president, but he somehow won anyways. It was pretty funny. Yeah, then we watched like oh, and in the midst for well, we started off with dessert actually with apple pie we reheated in the air fryer and then 3 scoops of ice cream. Started the video off with that and the video with the homemade pizza pie that I made. So yeah, it was pretty good. And then we noticed this new Dr. G video, so we decided to watch that together. It was basically him analyzing President Trump's latest act he had at the White House Correspondents' Meeting, and how he looked like he was like sleeping in the background. It was really interesting. And yeah, basically he just seemed like he was slurring his words more and like putting sentences together that didn't really seem to make any sense. So pretty interesting. And finally, after that, I remember that me and my mom parted ways. Oh yeah, she wanted me to finish what I started with the whole cat thing, or not cat thing, but the stinky smell in the laundry room. So I dug and eventually I found a broken can with like bugs crawling out of it of one of the cat food. So I was like, oh, this must have been the rotting meat that was leaking. So I threw that away in the trash and threw that outside in the outdoor trash can, and then I got to work cleaning all the cans that are surrounding it, throwing away the box, mixing water and bleach together, and then when I was done washing the cans, I put them in the bleach, and then I threw away, and then I took them out of the bleach after they soaked well enough. I wiped them away. I put them in a bag that we had in the house and put them in that area that they were supposed to be at. And then after that, I remember wiping the cans, putting them away. Yeah. And then I watched a retrospective on the Diary of a Wimpy Kid film series. It was the animated ones, not the live action ones. It was basically this angry fan talking about how he didn't like the animated films. And then after that, I decided to record this update video. And that's that. So see you in the next one. Bye.